concerned about it who would say, if I did that every day, within a month, somebody would take my kid. There were people that were saying 30 to 40 minutes.
Really?
Statistically, if you look at the crime statistics, they'd have to be outside your house for something like 750 years before your kid got picked. It might have even been 750,000, but I don't want to go that far.
Nonetheless.
But the statistics don't bear out that crimes against kids are as prevalent as CSI and Law and Order and all these crime dramas make out. They're just not.
No, I know that, but nonetheless, it's so hard.
It doesn't mean you don't have that emotional
It's
tug.
so hard,
I know.
and there's that little pain right there. Every time a child is out of your sight,
leaves your sight.
And that's human nature. That's
human
just
nature.
the way it
is. It is. But you shouldn't. You need to temper that with reason and data when you're going to go actually make laws.
In fact, I was one of those free-range kids. I never use that term. I always say that I was raised by wolves, but basically,
feral child.
I from the time I was 3 years old, I was never home. I was wherever I wanted to be, and nobody ever paid much attention. Which, good or bad, I had a lot of freedom. I wish I hadn't had quite so much freedom. But
yes.
But
there's certainly a place for a happy medium.
Yeah. But I was one of those kids. I survived, but there were sometimes I came close to not surviving. I can tell you.
This author gave the example of her son, 10-year-old son, was going to, I think, a family member or a friend's house, and they'd made arrangements. She put her son on the subway, and at the destination was the friend's family. Mother, father, the son and daughter were at the train station waiting for the kid to get off. This is the proverbial put your kid on a plane with $20 and a note.
Yeah.
And I think it was in New York, the state of New York, anyone over the age of 8 was able to ride the train legally by themselves, but the conductor freaked out. When the conductor found the kid without an adult, he called the police, had the police meet him at the next stop. They called the mother. They called the family that was supposed to pick him up, who was at the train station. The mom had to come down and release her son into this family's custody. And the cops didn't. The cops knew. The cops just wanted to make sure this. This is your son. It's okay for him to go here. But it's indicative of the notion that the conductor freaked out. This kid's riding the train all by himself. Well, yeah, they used to do it all the time.
Yeah, we still do that to a degree. Kids fly by themselves and stuff.
I was certainly a latchkey kid growing up. I got home from school before my parents did. My parents went to work before I left to school after a certain age. And nowadays, people drive their kids to the bus stop and wait with their kid in the car until the bus comes. And
it's a shame.
It's kind of a shame because you lose this whole social dynamic. You lose this whole, sense of freedom and such. But it's certainly understandable. People are worried about their kids, but there does need to be that tempering aspect that it's.
Yeah.
Nobody wants their kid to be the one in 700,000.
And I can't blame them for that. That's what parents worry. That's what they do.
Parents worry, but parents can worry watching from the car as well as they can worry sitting in the car with their kid.
Sure. It's interesting that, if you follow a school bus now, you'll find that they stop at every house.
They stop at every house.
It's like, there's no such thing as a school bus stop anymore.
And for some towns, for the town my parents live in that I grew up in, they won't let the kid off the school bus unless somebody comes out of the house to meet the kid. Yeah,
I would have never gotten off the bus. I didn't even take the bus. I always lived close to the school, so I always walked.
Well, which was another point she was bringing up. Nobody walks to school anymore. Nobody's allowed to ride their bike to school.
We used to walk about a mile. I think it was about a mile each way. But we'd walk every day. We'd walk to school in the morning, back home at lunch, back to school. 4 times a day we'd walk.
Yeah.
And it was,
And these are obviously massive generalities across the entire country.
Yeah.
But
yeah. But no, I don't blame people. I don't blame people for being concerned about the kids thing.
No.
The whole thing about the restroom, and that's one that's a kind of a sore subject for me because some of our opponents have used that as an argument, and it's a fallacious argument.
Right.
There was a town, I think it was in Illinois, that was had an ordinance that was overturned about transgender people using restrooms or something.
Yeah.
And they actually did a television commercial, which I saw. I saw it I think it was on YouTube.
I saw
and they did this commercial.
Programs.
They had this commercial that they showed the playground, and this little blonde-haired girl with ponytail, pigtails.
Yep.
Is playing on the merry-go-round or whatever, and off she gets off and runs to the bathroom, goes into the bathroom. This is like a 10-year-old girl.
Yep.
And then they show this unsavory guy dressed, like a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he wasn't even dressed in drag or anything, but he was just this sort of unsavory-looking character. Turns and goes into the ladies' room after the little girl.
Yeah.
And then the caption says something about, this is what your city council has done, is allowing to happen. And of course it was totally unfounded. And it was nuts, because it hasn't happened, and there's no statistical evidence to show that this has happened. It's like predators don't do this.
Well, no, and it bears on my point that, even in their commercial, they didn't try to pass off the fact that, some polyester or some cotton is going to keep a pervert from actually doing that.
That's right. Yeah. So it was just, I find
preventing someone from wearing a dress while they break the law. I mean, come on, anybody, go out, talk to anybody that's broken the law, talk to a criminal, ask them if the inability to wear a dress is going to prevent them from committing a crime. They will laugh at you.
Yeah. So anyway, it's one of those crazy things, but I don't mind, and I welcome people to come here and challenge me. And again, the FIC, I welcome, which is the Family Institute of Connecticut. Come on down. But they've used that argument too.
Make the honest, reasoned argument that you don't think we're legitimate, and stop playing games with fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's just not fair to the American people.
That's right. The hyperbole and the fear-mongering are just inappropriate. But yeah, I welcome, if somebody wants to challenge me, I welcome that. But at least if you're gonna make an argument against me being able to use the ladies' room, make it a good one.
Make it one that actually has some facts behind it and has some teeth.
That's all I have to say about that. I just, I feel for parents. I understand that.
Sure.
As a parent myself, I understand that. It's like, like I say, I go to the store with my 12-year-old grandson who's a big, my grandson. He's a big kid. He's going to play football this year. This is a big kid. But he goes into a men's room, and I get instantly nervous because it's like he's out of my sight.
And I'll tell you, my mother, who's in her 50s, late 50s, I think, 57,
she'll hate you now.
I can't do math. Screw it. She doesn't watch this.
Yeah.
She was worried last year when I was transitioning, when I was coming out, that I was going to have problems.
Yeah.
So I mean that's that parent bit that
never
goes away.
They never stop.
So it's entirely understandable, but just like you don't wrap your kid in bubble wrap to make sure that they don't fall down and hurt their knees. Although I did see an advertisement for newborn knee pads.
Newborn knee pads.
So that when they're crawling around, they don't hurt their knees.
Oh.
And my apologies to anyone who owns a pair.
Oh, that's funny.
They're designed to crawl around.
But
they're already down there. They're not going to fall.
I know.
But so, I mean, certainly our culture has the ability to swing in either extreme direction.
Yeah.
Over and under protective.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to worry no matter what.
You're going to worry no matter what. But you can worry sort of irrationally, or you can worry and be rational about it. And
yeah. I don't know. Is there anything rational about being a parent?
No. No.
Anyway, yeah. But no, I feel, I understand the man's concern, and I feel that. But we're certainly...
Since the guy in a dress thing got brought up, I'll mention this. This is from the Dayton Daily News, but I know it's been covered in a bunch of places. A bunch of people have carried the AP story. There's a man in the Sugar Creek Township on Tuesday who pleaded not guilty to 5 counts of public indecency and 3 counts of menacing. Police say he harassed several people over the span of a week,